We have received word that hostilities have broken out at Teggaria. The Empire attempted to break through our fleet off the Teggarian coast in order to make landfall at the naval base. Fortunately, Prince Ivangar's elite squad was able to hold the line and push the Empire back. Currently, the naval battle is in a deadlock, though it does seem that some Imperial units have made it ashore. We too are to answer the Kingdom's call, ready up and depart for the base.
We've finally been called up.
I never imagined we'd be fighting in a full-scale war.
Ultimately, your main objective is to assist the army. You are to provide reinforcements for the front line. En route to the base, however, you will also need to defeat units headed in this direction. You will take the Jacquerie Highway from Central Field towards Teggaria. Expect to encounter the Wyvern Riders gathered near Bald Greatbridge at some point.
Wyvern Riders?
They are knights mounted on winged creatures, wyverns, who nimbly attack from above.
I believe that is a job for your bow and arrows, Iska. The Blue Foxes are counting on you. Now more than ever.
Not a thought that brings me joy.
Well, the way I see it, the war looks bleak. Especially if we're being called up to fight.
Look at it this way. This is a rare opportunity to show what we can do.
You have such a yearning for war.
I can't comprehend it.
Enough, Iska. We're to make for Eastfield at once.
The Imperial's weapons look totally different to our own.
They must not be let through, lest our presence be for naught. We shall not buckle. Not a man shall get past.
The stench of gunpowder and roar of cannon fire. It really feels like war.
Stay focused, Quinn, or you'll end up on the floor.
My focus is not in question. My every sense is honed. Now, let us begin.
The enemy continues to advance. Brace yourselves. Do not let them reach Central Field.
The King's men are putting up a fight. It seems my comrades need me.
That's a Wyvern Rider. Watch out, everyone.
Wait! They're approaching on foot as well.
Damn. We'll have to split up then. Do not let them get past.
Yes, yes, there's no need to keep repeating yourself.
Well, well.
What is it, Izzy?
Have a look at the saddle. It's broken now, but is this how they control the wyverns?
That's jade. Not too dissimilar to the pure stuff we came across recently.
The jade we recovered from Haddie, you mean? This is a little duller, but I can see the similarity.
It doesn't seem that ordinary jade would activate the saddle. You know, I think this might have been what they used to incite the demi-humans' rampage.
You wouldn't need to know any ancient sorcery to use this, right, Chris?
No. What is it, Izzy?
It's usually impossible to get a demi-human or a monster to obey you. This changes everything.
I'd be grateful if you kept this discovery to yourself, Izzy.
Oh, all right.
Hello there. In any case... Naturally.
Aye.
Or, how about...
Lorraine, what news from the front?
Reports state that royal forces temporarily repelled the Imperial advance, forcing them to retreat to the Eastern Sea. Since then, however, they have headed north and are making landfall once more near Nonda.
Nonda? But that area is surrounded by precipitous cracks. An army could never pass through there.
Nevertheless, they are finding a way to cross the range. By what means, though, I have yet to confirm. All that can be ascertained is that they now appear to be marching southward from the heart of the Nondaran Mountains. Prince Ivangar anticipated their movements and mobilized 8,000 of his own elite fighters. They intercepted the invaders in the foothills of the Nondarans. So far, the Empire's weaponry and discipline means they hold out despite inferior numbers. Of course, Ivangar's troops are the best in the kingdom, and the terrain is favorable. But
is it something that ought to concern us?
scouts have reported that further Imperial reinforcements are en route to Teggaria. That means the naval base is at risk of capture. The garrison there would be easily overrun if the Empire attacked, as it now only consists of a few remaining guards and mercenaries.
If the port falls, Ivangar's troops would be left vulnerable. The Empire would crush them. Of that there is no doubt.
This is no mere coincidence. It must have been their intent all along.
Then it's up to us to deal with the Imperial reinforcements.
Duke Hende has issued no such order. The Blue Foxes are currently on standby.
However, needs must at times like these. If we do nothing, Lord Ivangar could meet his end.
But even if we were to overcome the reinforcements, there's no guarantee of victory.
We must have faith in our Prince Iska and concentrate on doing our part. Let's go!
Charge! Charge! Charge!
Imperial troops appear to be gathering at the harbor.
Their aim is to break our lines, but we will stand firm to the bitter end.
We will be at a disadvantage if they force us into defensive maneuvers. We ought to try using nearby structures and terrain to our advantage.
Defense alone will not win the day, though. Remember to attack as well. Don't worry. I'll heal you if I see you're at death's door.
Enemy soldiers are streaming in from a new landing craft. They just don't stop coming.
A most amusing spectacle.
It's at times like this, I'm glad we have you, Quinn.
Indeed.
Now let's move.
The defenses have been breached. What are those black things in the sky? Blue Foxes, our next targets are the airborne enemies. Do not let a single one through.
The Empire's first invasion attempt appears to have been unsuccessful. A mercenary unit known as the Blue Foxes, stopping their reinforcements from coming ashore. The main conflict, however, takes place in the north, where Ivangar and Zavatian's armies clash violently. Zavatian and Ivangar engage in single combat, but the prince's fearless onslaught is easily repelled. At last, a fateful bullet pierces the prince's chest, and as his life is snuffed out, so too is the morale of his army. With the now leaderless Alitanians in complete disarray, Zavatian's forces press their advantage and march south. Word of this spreads quickly through the royal ranks. And before long, the entire army is ordered to retreat from Eastfield. The order also applies to the Blue Foxes, despite their victory. Thus, the Alitanian army was defeated by the Empire. Having secured Teggaria, however, the Imperial forces halt their advance and set up camp. Meanwhile, the citizens of Alitane fall into despair. Their prince is dead, and the shores of their island breached for the first time in centuries. Seeking succor in their time of despair, they come to lean upon the Granvelle Church.
My first ever encounter with Levantia Shatham was certainly a vivid one. On the day I was assigned to be his chamberlain, he introduced himself to me not as a prince, as one would expect, but as an equal. He had a calm smile and exuded wisdom that belied his young age. One day, it was decided that Levantia would be sent to House Leicester, whose head, Arlim, was a close ally of the king. A decision made in secret. Among the bustling activity surrounding the prince, an air of uneasiness had started to brew. He seemed aware of it, yet as we spoke in the carriage to Leicestershire, there wasn't a hint of worry in his voice, nor was there the slightest change to his smile. My fears must have been plain to see. He gave me a beaming grin, as if to cheer me up. As we came to a halt, I hurried out to open the carriage door. Levantia alighted with his usual grace, and then, bursting out of the front doors of the manor, came a young boy grinning from ear to ear. He had this lively look to him, brimming with a curiosity for all things. He briskly approached us and exchanged introductions with Levantia. There was a youthful warmth to his voice that assured me that he bore no malice, and I began to feel at ease. Having already become fast friends, the two then turned to me and called me over. Even today, I can't explain my feelings in that moment.
Ashes and glory. After capturing Teggaria, the Empire's relentless progress appears to have temporarily abated. Alas, this does little to assuage Alitanian fears, and they begin to seek refuge in religion. In response to this demand, the Granvelle Church carries out its activities with increased vigor. Among its new initiatives is a promise to rescue a number of children from Westfield. They were orphaned following a disaster in the barren lands of Balladen Wilds. and left to fend for themselves. The Church enlists the Blue Foxes to rescue the orphans and bring them to safety.
Listen. They couldn't have.
Of course. That's why.
That's right. There we go. Thanks. Come on, ask me why I'm so happy.
Why are you so happy, Rickles?
Iskarion just told me that I've become a really great archer. I suppose he is a good teacher, and I've been practicing like a madwoman.
I did think that your accuracy had improved of late, but I had no idea that Iska was your teacher.
Yep, Iskarion's amazing. And he doesn't just know about archery, he understands politics too. He's been telling me all sorts of stories about the continent. I hope I can be like him someday.
You grew up hunting in the harsh wilds of Northfield, didn't you, Rickles?
It takes talent and experience to survive in an environment like that. Iska likely saw that in you and decided to help you fulfill your potential.
Thanks, Andreas. Sometimes you know exactly what to say, don't you? Not as much as Iskarion, though.
Oh, really? Iska, I've been wanting to ask you something.
Oh, yes?
What exactly is a knight-errant?
It's just a title I picked for myself, that's all.
And what made you pick that one?
It's a long story, but since you asked. I was once affiliated with the Knightly Order. I served a middling Eastfield noble, Count Rotus, having joined at an early age. This was a long-held custom for lesser houses such as my own, House Colchester. I joined thinking I'd be able to protect the weak. I was naive. We'd received an order to raise the slums. They'd apparently been infiltrated by spies. Now, at that time, I had a lot of friends from the slums. Good lads, a lot of them. But verifying each person's innocence would be too time-consuming, so we were told to kill everyone.
I see.
You can see where this is going. I realized then the purpose of our order wasn't to protect people. And so what could a knight in an order like that hope to achieve? I had to leave and go it alone. Knight-errant was the title that came to mind. Someone unbound by any organization, following his own judgment and protecting the people.
I see. Was that experience why you were reluctant to join the Blue Foxes?
Yes. And you should know that the resolve I felt on that day will never waver.
I'm sure it won't.
Has there been any more news about the situation in Teggaria?
Donovar should be able to answer that question.
Yes. I did make a few connections within the Imperial ranks during my time as a knight. According to my source, General Zavatian has left the front. His Lieutenant Osmaldo is in charge. There's no sign they're preparing for a new advance, but we must remain vigilant nonetheless.
And what of the royal government? They remain content to watch and wait?
Yes, though the Lord's Council has put conscription orders in place throughout the kingdom.
Numbers alone are meaningless. Unmotivated soldiers do more harm than good.
Aren't the people keen to take up arms? That they might avenge Prince Ivangar?
Not keen enough to risk their own lives, it seems. The faction conflict is also a significant factor.
Faction conflict? What do you mean?
With Ivangar Shatham dead, 2 remaining heirs are vying for the throne. Victor Shatham is second in line,
and Staris Shatham is third. The Lord's Council has split into factions, each of which is trying to influence the succession.
Needless to say, the faction which backs the right heir can expect to be amply rewarded in due course. This means that attempts to reclaim Teggaria may be more competitive than cooperative. With the faction seen to have contributed most to the victory, sure to win immense popular support.
The Council couldn't have picked a better time to start squabbling amongst themselves.